TVW Channel 7 opened on Friday, October the 16th, 1959. There were two studio cameramen, Gordon McColl and me, Richard Ashton, ready for the first news broadcast to go to air to the Perth region on that night. An invitation to attend the final news on Sunday evening of February the 22nd, 2015 had been kindly made to me by Chris Wharton, CEO of 7 West Media WA. After my 40 years at Channel 7, there had been, of course, many news broadcasts and many news personalities reading the news right through to the present day. Sunday night's news for the final time at Tuart Hill was going to be presented by Samantha Jolly. Now, 56 years on, I was here again, looking down into Studio 1. Yes, it was still the same and brought back a host of memories. Into the control room now, I was happily greeted by News Director Paul Giglia and Director's Assistant Robin Hemingway, and Graphics Assistant Christina Simic. Seated at the back was News Producer Alison Hembrow. Now in the studio news set, Samantha readied herself for the broadcast. Cameraman Ray Rabb was setting up the camera shot for the main news set. Across to the side of the studio, Sabrina Hemingway was setting up the auto cue equipment with the readout of tonight's news script.
This is 7 News.
Tonight, terrified Perth residents witness a suburban shooting. A man incinerated in a shocking crash. Exclusive, a Perth father's plea after vandals desecrate his son's memorial. And how a boy band has hindered the Eagles' pre-season training.
And through to 3 you're on. Stand by 1.
Samantha Jolly.
And cue Sam.
Good evening. Those stories soon, but first to breaking news. And there's trouble in our suburbs tonight. Monique Dirks is in Forestfield. Monique, what's happening there?
Well, Sam, dozens of police officers have been called here this afternoon. Now, it isn't clear why they decided to arm themselves.
Jeff McCann was Technical Director. He sets up and monitors all the engineering transmission facilities for the news going to air.
Locals on the streets while the community is on edge. Sam.
The Gold Coast Titans are in complete crisis.
Rolling over.
Arriving home to a scandal of titanic proportions. 2 of the game's big names, with notices to appear in court on drug-related charges. Titans Greg Bird and David Taylor, the latest players allegedly involved in an ongoing drugs probe that threatens to end their embattled club. Taylor was shielded by team officials as he was whisked away in a waiting car.
All was fitting together quite nicely. Robin's stories were coming up on cue, and Paul, following the script, makes the choices of camera shots and inserts and switches them to air. Now we're in the audio control room. Jeff Lenz was controlling the sound faders.
3, 2, 1, cue.
Indonesians have rallied against...
We see him monitoring the sound levels, and there are views of the auto scripts on his monitors.
Organisers in Jakarta collected coin donations in a symbolic gesture to repay the $1 billion pledged by John Howard after the Aceh tsunami.
On the streets of Jakarta, anger towards...
Samantha introduces the next story.
We've brought you stories before about aircraft boneyards, those giant areas in the American desert where entire fleets of passenger planes go when they've passed their use-by date. But this military boneyard with thousands of warplanes stored for parts is an even more impressive sight.
In all, $35 billion worth of military firepower, which once protected the skies around the world, now sitting, waiting for their final orders.
The stories continue, and we follow them, of course, through the sports stories, and then, of course, there's the weather.
Bracing for more cold weather. A new pair of storms is set to lash 30 states over the weekend, bringing heavy snow, rain and temperatures below freezing. 1,400 flights have already been cancelled. The Arctic blast is being blamed for at least 30...
Then almost suddenly the news broadcast comes to a close.
And that's all from the 7 News team for now. I'll have updates throughout the evening.
It's time for goodbye pictures in the old studios. The whole crew assembles for goodbye photographs, sitting on the old news desk. All the pictures are taken from everyone's cameras.
Mr. Ashton, eh?
Even I get a look in, sitting on the corner of the desk next to Robin.
There's
You and your panorama.
Sabby? Sabby? Oh, that's...